How do you find the will to fight back against a world that wants to keep you sedated, average, and stuck in place? Join us for the tools and strategies you need to create a life of abundance, discipline, and high achievement. This is the Tactical Empire with Jeff Smith.
Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. Today I'm joined by Sean Ryder. What's up, man?
Not much. We're getting back into our rhythm, pairing up on these podcasts. I do have more Inner Circle men coming on next week. I think that's been great, talking to the wide array of men in different industries and the lessons that they've learned as they build businesses and level up in their career. So I'm excited to get back to that, but I'm happy to be here with you, Jeff.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for another episode. What's
All right.
on?
So we've been hammering on a ton of topics over the past couple months. But if you listen to the last episode, we just wrapped up our second in-person Inner Circle meetup of the year. And just as we expected, when men that are not in the group see what we do at the meetups in the group and understand that they're missing out on the ability to grow their personal development and ultimately their financial standing and their leadership, they reach out and they want to get in the group. I think we do a good job at providing free content, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little frustrated when I see some men that engage with our content and then they reach out after the meetup and I'm like, well, you should be in the Inner Circle. And they're like, well, what's the Inner Circle? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if our content tells you what the Tactical Empire and the Inner Circle is. So we're going to take today and just explain a little bit about, like, for lack of, like, maybe the business side of the Tactical Empire. Like, this is, quote, a business, but it's a men's mastermind group. And like, what should they expect from an investment financial side to be in the group? And what should they expect from a time commitment side? And ultimately, what should they expect from a results oriented side? And maybe some intangibles. That was like 4 questions in one, but I want to hit the layers so people can fully understand who the hell we are and what we're doing at the Tactical Empire's paid mastermind Inner Circle.
Well, I think ultimately what we're doing is we're building a community of men that are looking for expansion in all areas. But also, like, the community aspect of it was something I was really passionate about building when we started the company. And it was because of kind of what you discussed on the last show about Kirk Weisler's message, which is being open to possibilities and opportunities. And if I know for a fact, because I've lived it personally, if we put 100 or 150 guys in this community, they're going to help each other accelerate faster. They're going to help each other build more wealth. They're going to help each other hold each other accountable, blah, 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 right? And so you never know what the next room you'll be invited into is, right? Or the next business partnership you'll be invited into. And ultimately, I know that we have a network of enough smart people that if we collectively get together and try to move forward, or with a mentality of abundance, that we can help each other move forward, right? And sharing of information, sharing of resource, sharing of connections, like, that's how you go really fast. And you can press time on your goals. You can press time on, like, where you're wanting to be with your life. And ultimately, that's what the community is about, which is why it's $297 a month to be a part of the community. You get weekly Zoom calls from us. You have a back end of GHL, Go High Level, which is a back-end library of courses that has, at this point, probably 300 courses in it. I mean, there's millions of dollars worth of intellectual property back in that library. And some of our guys don't even use it because they don't even know how to utilize it. I mean, we just had a conversation about time blocking at the meetup with someone that asked a question on Q&A who was just getting into their business ownership career and, like, trying to take control of their schedule because now they have autonomy and freedom, which is something we've all dealt with. And there's a module for that lays out exactly how to get over that hump. And so it's education. It's a private Facebook community as well for sharing things. And then ultimately, if you want to go down the rabbit hole and get personalized coaching, there's higher tier packages that you can sign up for that get you more personal touch. You get one-on-one phone calls and things like that. There's an option for that. But ultimately, the main offering, the tier one group, if you will, is the 297 community, which is the men's community. You get your 2 meetups a year that come along with it, and so you physically get in person with these people twice a year so that you can make better connections. You can continue to hold each other accountable, talk about what you're doing. Hey, we're in the same industry. What we should know the same people, blah, 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 facilitate that. Like, we've got a lot of people that do a really great job with that. Callie's a great example as someone that you've introduced or you've had on here recently. He's tremendous at networking. And he would tell you that when he started his personal development journey, he was terrible at networking because he's introverted by nature. And so he had to practice and build those muscles and put himself out there. And like, he really just does it from a genuine place of like wanting to listen to people and then wanting to assist people along their journey if possible. And so I think that that's where the overall like value set of the community is kind of in alignment. And like, that's one of the things that I enjoy watching the most is like who we attract and then how the community moves in concert with like upholding those values. So
yeah.
What do you got?
So I'm basically going to talk to small business owners, high W-2 income earners, and just high achieving men. And I apologize for what I'm about to do, but I'm gonna just put us all in a bucket and make an assumption about most of us prior to being in groups like this. If you're a small business owner, high W-2 income earner, or just you fancy yourself as a high achiever, that's cool. But most of the people you surround yourself with, if you're not just like a standalone lone wolf, I'm going to figure this out like I was, hardhead in my 20s, the only other people you're probably around are man friends. And again, I'm going to make some assumptions here, so not everyone's like this. Your man friends are there to go golfing with and go to the bars with and do fantasy football with. They're not really talking about financial goals. And then you have your potential coworkers and employees and or bosses. If you're a high W-2 income earner, you're probably not at the top of the food chain. So they're talking about career-oriented goals and the business that you work for goals. And if you're a business owner, you're talking to your employees, you're talking about how they can progress in their careers to help you reach the business goals. But they're not cut from the same cloth necessarily that you are. And so and then even if you're in groups that are local, even local economies, there's certain ways of doing business in certain towns. So you're even if you go to a networking group locally of quote like-minded business owners, it's still within the constraints of that geographic area, which is a positive, but it also can be a negative. And so stepping outside of that and coming into the Tactical Empire's inner circle for $297 a month, which is sickening when we think about it in terms of value of not just you and I, Jeff, but like of what the group actually does to the men in the group and the other guys that they have access to. It's stepping outside of the other groups that you're associated with. And it does give you an area to learn from people who are doing similar things and they're doing them slightly different from you. And on the last episode, we talked that it was funny that, at the meetup, we didn't have any presentations on finances because realistically, when the men come in the group, it's one of the first things that we harp on and we teach them the 7 levels of financial freedom. And once you implement the 7 levels of financial freedom into your life, it's basically on cruise control. Like you're still taking action within the 7 levels. But when you have a vision for your life and you have your BAM set for good, better, best, whatever it is, and then you have your family bank and then you're investing in cash flow assets, it really comes down to just what life you want and the leadership for you, yourself, and your family. And that's a lot harder than setting up the financial system that we need you to set up when you come in. And so it is cool to bring men into the group, hammer out the financial side, make sure that they have good daily habits to set their physical and mental health in order. And then ultimately it's like, hey guys, I'm struggling with this area of my life. Who here has experience and can help me? And we'll either talk about that as a group, or those guys will splinter off at dinner and have an off one-handed conversation. And so, some of these masterminds, you're like drinking from a fire hose because it's constantly big presentations being shoved down your throats and different people coming in talking about different things. For us, we try and streamline that. Here's our main topics. Here's our main pillars. Here's our suggested. Now, how does that fit within your life? That's going to require probably a one-on-one conversation on text, phone call, meet in person, whatever it may be. So guys, if you're like me, like I thought I didn't need things like this. Now I know that I can't go the rest of my life without things like this. And so that's what it looks like when you're on the other side of the fence. And that's why, as someone that's trying to grow the inner circle to 75 to 100 people, it's like, I have to regulate my emotions, because it's like you're beating yourself against the wall. Like, if you don't understand what you're going to get. And so that's why the meetups are so important, because you do see the men leave. And for a man to leave a thing like that and post about it on social media, I like, there's something really good about that in my mind. I really like seeing that, because I do want to see men go to things that are impactful, because I know that's going to pay dividends in their individual personal life for themselves, in their family dynamics for their family, both their partners and their children. And then I know it's going to have a downline effect in their businesses or the companies that they work for. And then when we're all long gone, if they've done what they're supposed to do and create a legacy, they're going to be teaching their kids on how to teach their kids some of these same principles. And, it might be watered down over time. That's not the goal. But the more families that create family banking that we teach, and that prove that you have to lead yourself first before you can lead anyone else, why would you not want to be in a group like that? So that's what I have to say about that, Jeff.
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. I think it's just for people that are looking for more. Because I think we've all had points in our life where we're sitting there going, okay, things are okay. And okay is like the enemy of greatness. And I think we're all put on this earth to pursue our actual potential while never reaching it. And so like the worthy pursuit, the fulfilling pursuit is that pursuit of your ultimate potential while knowing you're never going to be able to grasp it. And so that's daunting and it's challenging, because it's easier just to go with the status quo. Like, I'll work Monday through Thursday and then happy hour for 4 days a week and like go back to the cycle of life and that way, because that's what your neighbors are doing. That's what your local people are doing. That's what you're talking about. So like heading out on this journey of like pursuing your potential is scary and hard and stressful, because you're constantly questioning who you are. You're like, well, I'm pretty good, but I have all these flaws. And so you're constantly just introspective about who you've become, who you are. Like, oh, I'm a much better person than I was when I was 25 or 35, but like I still have room for growth in these areas. Maybe I'm not empathetic enough with my wife or whatever it is, right? Like it just really heightens your awareness to like, there's more work to be done on every level. And you're spot on with the financial side of things, because people come in and they're like, okay, I'm going to generate cash flow assets and like how long till I'm financially free? And then you realize that like that gets flipped on its head, because it's like, well, who do you have to become to be worthy of making $50,000 a month free and clear monthly revenue or whatever it is, right? And like then they're like, oh shit. It's actually the hard work that I have to do to make this all go, right? Because the financial side of things is easy.
Yeah. I'll end with this, because I like the metaphor you said about the journey and the horizon, right? You never reach the horizon. I mean, the metaphor is the hike that we did at the meetup. We talked about it on the previous podcast, but you can either walk towards the horizon by yourself, and after a while, if you're only talking to yourself about this journey, like that journey can be really fucking hard, like you said. And when that horizon keeps going further and further and further, and you're walking and you're working, and this metaphor of life and growing the life that you want, or growing wealth, or growing a business, or raising a family, or raising a positive marriage, whatever it may be, like it's really hard to keep that positive self-talk up or those affirmations up for yourself. And so it's a hell of a lot easier to come into a group like the Tactical Empire Inner Circle, and the other men are like, yeah, dude, that horizon, we're never going to get there, but we're going to keep walking forward. And sometimes these other men pull ahead, but eventually they're going to turn around and start pulling you forward. And you're going to ebb and flow on this journey. And we're going to go around the backside of the mountain and get in the shade for a little while. But then the sun's going to come up and beat down on you, and you're going to get hot as fuck. And then sometimes you make a wrong turn and you're walking up on someone's backyard because we got off the trail by accident, and you got to turn around and go back up the fucking mountain, and it takes an extra 30 minutes. Like, that hike has so many metaphors to what we just said as to why men need to be in this group. And like, we're laughing about it, but like, it's the fucking truth, man. Yeah. Like this, I could not imagine being on this path of business building or wealth building or marriage building or parent building without other fucking men that are doing the same shit. Because we all, no matter how good we are, end up hitting a struggle point or a mini season, and we don't want you to suffer through that. We're all going to struggle, but suffering is optional. And as long as you lean into the group and say, hey guys, I've had blinders on, but I recognize something's wrong. Who can see my blind spot for me? I need help in this area. Like, that is worth the price of admission every single month. And so I'm not going to sit here and plead for you to get in the group. I'm not going to sell you on the group. Listen to our fucking content. We haven't been doing this for a month. We've been doing this for 3 fucking years. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it may be, it's time to step in. By the way, y'all, we don't have any fucking commitment. Like, we're not going to sign you up for 12 months. If you get in and you're wrong for the group, or you think the group's wrong for you, get the fuck out. But our track record is men get in and they make fucking progress, and you're going to be there at March and April's meetup, and you're going to recognize what we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks after this last meetup in Scottsdale. Mic drop, done.
Well, the other thing you figure out is that, like, you need a circle to surround you to support you, but also call you on your bullshit, or also inspire you. Like, you never know what you need at that point in time. But like, if you are a lone wolf, like you discussed, and I live in whatever, Houston, Texas, and I'm very insular in what I'm creating, I can tell myself any story about the progress that I'm making. And I can justify my behaviors, my actions, my progress or lack thereof to myself all day, every day. Like, but having a circle of men around here doing things, action takers that are making moves, that strips your ability to lie to yourself. And it makes you be very honest with yourself, but they're also very supporting of you, because it's not like they're there to call you out. It's just like, when you see the level of action and you see the cadence at which the people in this group move, like, I have to move 100 times faster, and I feel so much accountability just running the organization. It is what keeps me motivated and moving, because I'm like, fuck, man. Like, look at this shit. Like, you see the winds that come down. I'm like, holy shit, man. These guys are doing all kinds of stuff. 14 houses, 2 businesses, and a baby in the last 90 days. That's one person. I'm just like, holy fucking, like, you can't help but, like, for me, it inspires me. I get excited when that happens, because, like, I think that all it does is exposes possibilities. Because, like, that's just a regular dude who had no rental properties last 90 days ago. 0. So, like, everybody telling themselves the stories that they can't do it, or it's too hard, or, like, I don't have the resources. Like, all of those lies are crushed by just watching the people around you in this group. So, from that standpoint, it's worth its weight in gold.
Yep. Give me the houses, you can keep the baby. Jeff, send the people out.
Oh, like and subscribe to us on Facebook, guys. It's the Tactical Empire Podcast. We're on every platform with the Tactical Empire on Instagram. If you guys have a question about it, have a question about the Inner Circle, want to get in, follow us on our channels. We put out a ton of good content, educational content, motivational content, whatever. Shoot us a DM if you have any questions, or we can help you with anything. We want you to win regardless if you're in our circle or not. Have a great week.